What's happening, everybody? Off the Mic Sports Network, another edition of Off the Top Rope. Oh my goodness. I uh, I have started to run out of things to say about Mercedes Moné because we're at 12 titles now. She won an 11th, by the way, which was an interim title. Got thrust onto Wrestle Dream, beat Mina Shirakawa in a title for title match. Um, and then and listen, I understand that some of the fan base of hers is going to trumpet, um, is going to trumpet the fact that she wrestled on 3 consecutive nights, which is pretty incredible. But it's just like I said, when it comes to like a lot of this self-serving stuff, she's got 12 titles in 9 different countries, which okay, whatever. Um, Wins the Winnipeg Pro Women's Championship, cool. And it's just now she's challenging Kris Statlander for the Women's World Championship at Full Gear next month. So she could be, depending on, obviously, if she's going to lose any of these titles ahead of that point, she could be 13 belts Moné. And at what point does this become overkill? I think it's become, I think it became overkill like at like 6 or 7. We're at 12. We're at 12. I've said this on multiple videos that I have talked about the CEO. I am not dismissing any of her credentials of what she has done in her career. But in my opinion, when she went to AEW, it was about elevating the brand, elevating the stock of women's wrestling and AEW, because she was a hot commodity when she left WWE in 2022. She was a hot commodity. She absolutely was. Made a name for herself. Obviously, she had that career-threatening injury that she had once she in 2023 that basically knocked her out for basically a year plus. And listen, her work rate and some of the matches that she's put out, like she hasn't lost a step. She is an incredible not just a women's professional wrestler. She is one of the most incredible female talents and one of the most incredible just wrestlers that we've seen in the modern era. She's fucking fantastic. But when I see her just continually collecting championships, collecting accessories, and it's not even some of these aren't even championships. It's like the audacity to trumpet yourself out as 12 belts Moné when 2 of the titles are unified. One of them isn't even a championship. And you've also got an interim title. That's where we are. And that's where I draw the line of saying, this is bullshit. This is complete and utter bullshit. It's an embarrassment to her. It's an embarrassment to AEW. It's an embarrassment to all of these promoters who are giving their spots and championships to this woman as opposed to, elevating your own talent in your own promotion. And now we are at a crossroads of where we literally were in July at All In Texas, where they gave Mercedes Moné her first loss, losing to Toni Storm. 2 months later, not even 2 months later, they dropped the title off of Toni Storm in a random 4-way match. Not even so. The woman who beat the woman in this company, you didn't even give a chance to let it marinate. And now, what really pissed me off at Wrestle Dream is Mercedes Moné came out and talked down to Kris Statlander like she was like some bum. Kris Statlander's been there from the beginning and fought through multiple knee surgeries. So, listen, it would be great if Kris Statlander won. And I think she should win. But even if she does win this match, you are in a no-win situation if you are AEW. You have booked yourself into a corner. Because now, if Kris Statlander gets the win in her third match with Mercedes Moné, if she finally beats her, you're telling the story that even though she has 12 belts on her, she can't win the big one. So that makes the other promotions that she holds the championship and the championship that she currently holds in the TBS title makes it look like nothing. So that's the first thing. Now, if Mercedes wins, the AEW women's division as we know it is dead. Because you've basically told your audience that not only is Mercedes Mone better than everybody else, but the woman who beat the woman that beat her isn't even good enough. So I'm really interested to see what they do here, but this whole belt collector thing wore out its welcome very early. I was annoyed, and I've been annoyed at her booking from the jump. Won her first match on the AEW roster, beat Willow Nightingale, who literally barely had any of a TBS title run. And then all she's done is just beaten every woman under the sun to really no fanfare. Some of them have been great matches, but do you really honestly remember any of them compared to what some of the stuff she was doing in WWE as Sasha Banks? Really? A lot of those matches were great, but it's like we knew, like I said, there was never any doubt that she was losing. There was never any doubt that she was losing in any of these situations. Even the Tony match, which was the one that was the most unpredictable, it was fine. Greatest women's wrestling match of all time. I don't think that was the best match that, Mercedes has ever wrestled. So it's just, I get frustrated when, you get promised a certain thing. You talk about elevating people. You talk about elevating the brand. And who's benefited the most from this partnership since she joined AEW last year? It's clearly Mercedes. And even then, I don't even think the value that she came in with and the equity is even there, despite having all of the championships. She's still the same person that we saw in WWE. She just has a different name and a different moniker. There's nothing different going on here. There is nothing different. So at the end of the day, what has really happened here? Like, nothing has really changed. All they did was change a couple notes in a record book. She's now the longest rating TBS champion. She might hold 13 belts, but if you can tell me honestly who she beat without looking it up, then you're a geek, first of all, because none of these matches were even really televised. You're just basing this off of photos. So it's just, at the end of the day, this is all nonsense. Like, it doesn't prove anything. What I expected when she joined that company was that we were going to see a new age and a new thing forward. And what frustrates me the most, and why I'm so hard on her, is because she was completely and utterly wronged in the Vince McMahon WWE. And that's why she left. And she went out and bet on herself, and I give her credit for that. Spoke out, spoke her mind, did whatever she could, and she's been able to do what she wants. But it's become complete and utter overkill to the point where she's made an embarrassment out of herself. Like, nobody cares that you have 12 or 13 championships. You don't defend any of them. And now you're at a point now where if you win, you kill a women's division by yourself. And if you lose, you're basically telling the narrative of the whole belt collector gimmick that you have put together is meaningless. Every championship that you've won, every woman that you've beaten is a loser because you couldn't beat the woman that beat you. If that makes sense. Like, it's just the logic of and the ideas of this. It's just you're feeding the ego and feeding the narrative, and you're helping one person. When the reality of this is it should be about elevating the women's division. And she has not done that. That's why I've been critical. That's why I've done a bunch of videos on this, because I feel like I need to keep hammering the point home to all you geeks who love her. She is a great performer. She is one of the greatest of this generation, but she has done more damage than harm to her legacy with this run in AEW, despite all the championships. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.